Adventure is the life of commerce, but caution is the life of banking. Walter Baggold. Welcome back to the channel. What if I told you we're standing at the edge of a financial revolution? A shift so fundamental that it could redefine what money even means. But this is about crypto hype or a new tech startup. This is about the central banks and their quiet race to reinvent money itself. At the heart of this transformation sits something called Project Polaris, a program by the Bank for International Settlements. And what they're building could decide how the world pays, trades, and connects in the decades to come.
Central banks maintain public trust and confidence in the currencies and payment systems we use every day. And, as central banks are at various stages of their work on Central Bank Digital Currencies, or CBDCs, this becomes even more critical. CBDC systems must be secure and resilient so individuals and businesses can trust and use them. Central banks already have robust cybersecurity and resilience measures in place, supported by strong risk management. But implementing and operating CBDC systems could involve new technologies and will face an increasingly diverse and complex cyber threat landscape, which brings new threats as well as reputational and operational risks. Project Polaris from the BIS Innovation Hub Nordic Centre focuses on designing secure and resilient CBDC systems, online and offline.
Project Polaris is a BIS Innovation Hub initiative focused on CBDCs, Central Bank Digital Currencies, but unlike most digital currency projects, this one doesn't just look at how to build them. It focuses on something far more difficult: how to make them secure, resilient, and even work offline. Think about that. A currency issued by your central bank that could still function when your phone loses signal or when the power grid fails. That's the world Project Polaris is trying to prepare for.
The project identifies potential threats and events that could affect CBDC systems. Polaris has developed a cybersecurity and resilience framework to help central banks navigate this complex landscape.
You see, money has never been about numbers in a bank account. It's about trust. And in the digital world, trust means security and resilience. If a digital currency system goes down or is hacked, the entire economy could be at risk. That's why the BIS, often called the Central Bank for the Central Banks, launched Project Polaris to set global standards for how these systems should be built. They're not talking theory. They already released full frameworks and handbooks on how central banks can design offline CBDCs and how to close the cyber threat, modeling gaps in digital money.
The framework introduces a 7-step approach that builds on widely accepted standards. Each step outlines a set of controls and countermeasures that could be needed, as well as introducing a capability model for operating secure and resilient CBDC systems. Because CBDC systems could use new technologies, the project has partnered with the BIS Cyber Resilience Coordination Centre and identified potential gaps in cyber threat modeling for CBD systems by analysing several high-profile attacks on distributed ledger technologies in the DeFi domain.
Polaris is built around 3 main ideas. First, security. Every CBDC must be able to withstand cyber attacks and fraud at the national scale. Second, resiliency. The system has to stay operational even when networks fail or infrastructure is damaged. And third, offline payments. The ability to send and receive money instantly, no internet, no connection, just secure peer-to-peer value transfer. It's digital cash, but built for the realities of the modern world.
The project proposes public-private collaboration to further develop the framework and threat modeling to keep pace with developments in the technology, cyber threat, and CBDC landscape.
If this works, Project Polaris could redefine what it means to have access to money. In rural areas, during disasters or anywhere offline access is crucial, people could still trade, buy, and connect financially. And for governments, it creates a more inclusive and resilient economy, one that isn't dependent on private networks or big tech infrastructure. It's a massive step forward, making digital currencies as reliable as cash, but smarter, safer, and far more adaptable.
Project Polaris enables central banks to assess what capabilities, controls, and countermeasures they have in place today.
The BIS isn't building one CBDC for everyone, it's building the blueprint that every central bank can follow. Each country can design its own system, but follow the same tested principles of security, privacy, and resilience. The BIS is creating the standard that every country will use to operate functionally. The handbooks and frameworks released in 2023 are just a start. They show how to handle offline risks, test against cyber threats, and model the technical resilience of national payment systems.
And what they may need in the future to protect against potential threats when implementing and operating secure, resilient, and trusted CBDC systems. Project Polaris, ensuring trust in a secure and resilient future monetary system.
So while most people aren't watching the foundations of our next monetary system that is already being built quietly, securely, and methodically, Project Polaris isn't about replacing money, it's about future-proofing it. Because the next time the lights go out, you will still need your money to work. And that's exactly what the BIS is preparing for. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to like and subscribe, because the future of money is already here and it's changing faster than you think. Peace.